Welcome to the podcast portion of our ministry here at Eating Elephants Ministry. Today's guest is Kathy Ewing. She's a mother to a special needs kid that we're trying to help with the bite of this elephant here today. And so we hope to have a good conversation. Watch to the end, guys, to see how you guys can get involved and help us be better ministers to people in our community. So thank you for watching. Does that sound good?
Yep.
All right. Hello, Kathy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good?
I'm good.
I don't know why I'm nervous today talking to you, but I am a little nervous. Is that weird? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do I remind you of your mom or
I
something?
don't know. I don't know. I feel like you have some nerves, but then it's making me have some nerves too, or maybe it's me giving you the nerves. I'm not sure.
We can breathe.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
That's good.
All right. So tell me a little bit about yourself. So you're Lakeland your whole life, or
No.
Okay.
Do you want to go back that far? We moved to Lakeland from Tallahassee in 1998 into 1999.
Gotcha.
So Zachary was about 8 years old,
Okay.
and he started off at Oscar Pope Elementary School, which is a really cool school.
Okay. That's still around? That's still around?
It's still there.
Okay.
It's still there. Although they had a really, I think they had like a 50% deaf population.
Okay.
I've told you this, right? And so they'd walk down the halls talking to each other, just like any kids walk down the halls and talk to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and so he went through the Polk County school system, and when you're a special needs kid with an IEP and all of that stuff, you get to go until you're 21 or 22, one or the other. I can't ever remember which one. But anyway, so he technically went to high school for 8 years.
Okay. Gotcha. So, and then your other son is the younger brother?
My youngest son was born here in Lakeland,
Okay.
and he's now an aircraft mechanic out at the airport.
Gotcha. And so
So,
you
I'm
moved here with your husband, or?
I moved here with with my husband,
Gotcha.
who is Sam's dad. Zach's dad I had already divorced,
Gotcha. Okay.
and so that's kind of how that went. We came here because my grandmother's house was available, and so we moved in.
Gotcha. And so you're my neighbor, just so that y'all understand that. Yeah. Which is how we know each other, just kind of seeing you take Coco, the dog, out there to potty and stuff, which is, I mean, that's another sad little story, right? Like this 16-year-old.
We're all aging.
Was it 16-year-old Chihuahua that's
16-year-old
fully
Chihuahua.
blind, fully deaf, like just
He's not fully deaf.
not fully deaf? Okay.
He's not fully deaf, and he's not fully blind. He just has cataracts. But if the light goes on, I notice that he notices. So
Okay. Gotcha.
it's not fun, but he's all right.
Okay. And so you're down here, and then so is your youngest son's dad, is he in the picture as well? Is Zach's dad in the picture? Like,
Zach's dad passed away
Okay.
in 2017.
gotcha.
Sam's dad is in the picture. He lives about a mile away from us.
Oh, okay.
And
Gotcha.
so, but he and I also got divorced. So, yeah, twice divorced.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So whatever the present is for that, I don't know.
Right.
So, but anyway, the thing about my divorce from Sam's dad was that it was all about Sam
Okay.
and keeping it open. And he literally would go 1 week to 1 week, house to house.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, and that's just kind of how that worked.
Yeah.
And it's worked out beautifully,
Okay.
you know.
Huh. Well, at least it's worked out in that sense for him. So how does that work as far as, because Zach is your eldest, and what's his diagnosis? I mean, it's just.
He's developmentally delayed with autistic characteristics.
Okay. Gotcha. And so I know there's like a broad range of whenever you say somebody's special needs, like it could be
a lot of things.
Yeah.
It could be physical needs. It could be intellectual needs. It could be emotional needs.
Gotcha.
And they all kind of, they have different classrooms for different students. Some are in a contained classroom, like Zachary was, so it's only the kids you're with all day long. You don't go out and go to other classes with other children and that kind of thing. And it just kind of depends on what your need is.
Yeah.
And where you are on the spectrum and where you are. I call it high functioning.
Okay.
Like if he were high functioning, he would have gone to Lakeland High School. But because he wasn't, he went to George Jenkins because the program for him there was better for his needs.
Okay.
So it's kind of, they've got it down.
Yeah, there's definitely programs out there for anybody wherever they're at.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. What about on the church side of things? I mean, is there programs for the broad range as well, or is it just kind of you get what you get?
It's probably a little bit of both. I haven't explored like Sunday services with other churches with him. I know First United Methodist has a program. I know First Pres has, special services, Sunday school, that kind of thing for the special needs community. But we stay at our home church and everybody knows him. And so it's not really an issue.
Okay.
They know him and his behaviors, and he loves vacuums, and he knows the kind of vacuum everybody has at church.
Yeah.
He knows, he has all this.
He has it memorized too, like he knows.
Has everything memorized. In fact, I'll tell you, one day, we went to church, and my pastor's son had not been for months. And Zach said to me, "Scott's here." I'm like, "How do you know that?" His truck was in the parking lot. And
Whoa.
He was right.
Wow.
I mean, there's just these little things that he picks up on that, other people just gloss over. So it's interesting how his disability works.
So is your church like a smaller congregation? I mean,
Yes.
how everybody, like on a Sunday, it's like...
On a Sunday, I would say 50 to 100, somewhere in there.
Okay.
100 on a good day, 50 maybe.
Gotcha. Yeah.
On a normal Sunday. It just kind of depends.
And so, like, I've spoken to some people with special needs kids, and it's like they won't go to church because of their kid kind of making noises or being, a distraction like that. I mean, is that something where, is that kind of sometimes an issue, or is it just always kind of like, everybody understands it's no problem?
No, not really. When he was younger, I would say 3 or 4, I did stop going to church because of his behavior, because the nursery couldn't handle him. It was getting to be too much. And so we had to figure that out. And that's what you do as a parent. You just kind of figure out what's going to work for them, medications, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of trial and error.
Okay.
So it's very difficult because, he does have behavior issues. So he'll have what we call a meltdown sometimes. And so it's just difficult to figure out where it's coming from, how it's happening, why it's happening, and that kind of thing. But as I've gotten to know him, I can figure out what's going to trigger him. Gotcha. So any change, basically for most special need kids, they are, they have to have their routine. If their routine is shifted or changes, sometimes that'll cause an incident where they'll get upset and react. So that's a big thing with him. And as he's gotten older, it's been easier to let him know, hey, Zach, tomorrow we're not going to do this. We're going to do that instead. And he's fine. But it's just, and it's a case-by-case basis with different kids.
Is it like just yelling, or is it physical? Like, does it get physical, or?
He will get physical.
Really?
He had a really bad, and his doctor had told me that they were gelastic seizures, which are characterized by very violent behavior and laughing, and that, I think you see it on TV sometimes where they'll say, do you have inappropriate laughing and blah, 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 take this drug. Anyway, it doesn't happen often at all. It probably has happened 4 times in
Okay.
his lifetime.
And he's how old?
He's 33 now.
33, yeah.
But when his hormones were changing, that's when all that stuff started happening.
Oh, okay.
When he was going from, pre-puberty, going through puberty was a nightmare. I thought we'd never get out of.
Yeah.
But we did.
Yeah.
We did.
I mean, just thinking about, like, as my kids grow up, it's kind of like they're going through stages of certain behaviors.
Right.
But is that different as far as on your end where the stages don't pass? Like sometimes you're staying in something for a long time before something moves on, or sometimes it's just like that's where they're at for their life. I mean,
Right. Well, he's kind of like an 8-year-old
okay.
for life.
Okay. Yeah.
He still watches Blue's Clues, which is, not even an 8-year-old show, but he likes his little preschool shows that he's always liked, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Arthur, Barney, he watches all that.
Gotcha.
And he's got certain times when he does all these things. So it's just, and he can sign his name, but he can't really read and write. Like what he learned in school was to read signs like stop, go, or the green light means go, those functional things that we all need to survive. And that's, where we went with him.
Gotcha. And so in the church, is there any kind of teaching going on there, or is it more so just being there as like a community deal?
For our church, it's more like a community deal. Now I sing in the choir, so I'm up front.
Yeah.
And then he'll sit in the pew with my mom and his grandpa, and then that's another story. My mom, and our pastor's husband sits back there with him.
Gotcha.
And so when you ask him who he's sitting with, he'll say he sat with Charles. He won't say grandma, even though they're all in the same pew.
Huh.
So it's very interesting how he relates to people.
Okay. Yeah, just how he recollects something happening and what's going on.
Right.
Really. Yeah. You said your pastor's husband. You have a female pastor?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very
That's all
different
you
church.
ever want to have. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm biased.
Yeah.
I'm very biased.
So yeah, cause see that's something. Honestly, I've maybe heard like a live in person woman preach maybe like 2 times in my life. I just haven't been exposed to much of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, for me, I grew up with the same pastor for 18 years, and it was my dad.
Okay.
So for me, having a woman is really refreshing. And I have had female pastors a lot. I've had 2 men at this church, and I think the rest have been female.
Really? Okay.
Since I've been there.
And have you noticed, like, I guess, better church growth, like better community with the female pastors, or?
I don't think it's any of that.
Okay.
I think it just depends on the direction the church wants to go. So, like we have a ministry where we have a service with older adults that are, I can't remember where they are, in the tower over by the lake.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
But like we go do a service there for them, and sing, and it's called Sing, Pray, Love.
Okay.
We do that. So there's little things out in the community. We also support an elementary school with a snack sack ministry. And so we have people that donate the stuff. We have a room where people pack it up. And so the kids that, need food can take it home for the weekend. They can take it home for holidays. We do special things for those events.
That's
a very...
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Has anything changed as far as ministry-wise with the new shift in the homosexuality decisions and stuff like that? I mean, is there any outreach?
Not for us.
No? Okay.
Not for us. Not really. I mean, they basically made it so that the church and the pastor could both decide whether or not they were comfortable doing a same-sex wedding or having a same-sex wedding at the church. So if anybody says no, like if the pastor says, I'm not comfortable doing a same-sex ceremony, then they don't.
Okay.
If the congregation says we're not comfortable having a same-sex wedding in our church, then it's not held there. So they basically pushed it down to the local churches to decide what they want to do with the issue
Okay.
of same-sex marriage.
Is it like one nay, like one no could stop that, or is it like a majority? Do you know, or as far
I
as
think one no could stop it.
really?
But I
Okay.
do not know for sure because everything we do is by committee and council, and I mean we have committees for everything. It's like the OCD religion, I call it.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, it's. I don't really know how they get there. You know how you can. I guess how you get to that point where you're making those kind of decisions. It's a little strange to me. I'd like to hear the arguments of kind of what led them down that path to kind of say like, hey, this is what we want
To be able to perform same-sex
yeah,
weddings?
just to be, to let that be happening in the church like that. It just seems kind of like I know there's verses in the Bible that are pretty direct on like no go, but I'm not sure what verses they're using to kind of say like, all right, this is why we're finding it okay. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
Like,
would have to look it up.
yeah, I'm saying. Well, I mean, maybe you could, maybe your pastor could see this and she'll come on or something. You know, that'd be cool to me just to hear. I don't know where the other side of the argument is there. You know, as far as
Well,
like why.
because every person is of sacred value and worth.
Okay.
And so it was decided, and half our churches, not half our churches, a lot of churches left the denomination.
Gotcha.
But it was decided that because that if you want to be in a committed relationship with someone of the same sex, you're over 18, there's not, some kind of power thing going on, whatever, that it's consensual and all that kind of stuff, then yes, we will marry you.
Okay.
And then that decision is left up to the pastor, the congregation, and that kind of thing.
And like membership in the church is available to as well.
Oh, membership's always been available.
Okay.
That's never been an issue.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm kind of
Because
curious
everybody's
where.
broken. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of the.
I see that, but at the same time, I'm like, where's the? I know the signs are like love is kind and stuff, but if we're kind of basing it off of kindness, I'm thinking, man, okay, there's a lot of other things in the Bible that, I mean, even the concept of hell, it's like that doesn't seem very kind, So it's like,
No,
obviously,
it's not. It's not kind.
it's just one of those things where I'm thinking like, okay, I guess I don't know what all's getting shifted if that's being shifted, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I'm wondering what all else is in jeopardy, as far as like being a thought change on something like that. Because you said, when we spoke about this another time, you said it's not a global thing with the Methodists, like the other
Right.
Methodists
Other
globally.
countries can adopt it according to their culture.
Okay.
Because culturally, in some countries, homosexuality is illegal and punishable by whatever means. I don't know how they do it in other countries, but it just doesn't align with them culturally, and so they don't have to adopt the practice or anything like that of ordaining homosexuals and or practicing homosexuals. Actually, you've always been able to be ordained as a homosexual, but you could not be practicing.
Okay. Right.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, little minor thing, but yeah. So what they do with it is different. I mean, that's what they decided because General Conference includes everyone, and this is a U.S. problem, not a worldwide problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know people get upset talking about this, but at the same time, it's kind of like, because it's, we're talking about practicing homosexuals or non-practice. It's like,
It's crazy.
it matters. It matters because it says it in the book that we adhere to. Like, that kind of stuff matters. And it's like, we're only, I believe it's in Romans where Paul talks about, only, my business is to judge the people inside the church. Like that's like to make sure that we stay on the straight and narrow a bit,
Right.
Not those outside the church. So it's like, I don't have, the problem isn't with all homosexuality. It's just like, hey, if you're going to step into our lane of like church leadership or church life, then, this is what the book says, this is how it goes, And so that's kind of one of the things for me that I'm just thinking, okay, so how are they reading the book where it says that, you know, this stuff is okay? I'm just curious, I guess is what I'm saying, because I know that I kind of recognize that, you know, and through my own reading I can see it as well, but it's just like I recognize that there's a lot less voices in my life of the liberal side, you know?
Right.
And so before I kind of, you know, hardcore just say like, no, that's wrong, you know, or whatever, it's like I do want to be
It's okay to believe
understanding.
it's wrong. It's okay to
Yeah,
believe it's
well,
wrong. I mean, it's just, if you have a couple,
uh-huh.
same-sex couple, that are devoted to Christ, devoted to each other, they want to do the thing, you know, like heterosexual couples do, where they get married and it's for life, because you know that works out really well for me personally. But but I mean, I can't deny them that as another, excuse me, as another human. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
I think that's where this argument is. You know, we should be able to be members. We should be able to follow the rules and, you know, of marriage and what have you, and be able to have membership. And here's an interesting sociology. I learned this in sociology. Most homosexual couples that raise children, their children are heterosexual.
Okay.
So it's a big question to me, is, for me personally, is, were you born this way? Is this really it for you? Or is this a choice you made based on other factors in your life? And so it's difficult for me to narrow that down, and I don't feel like I should be judging people for that.
Yeah, it's just like whenever you come into our lane is what I would say. Like whenever you
Okay.
kind of get into, hey, I'm going to live by this book, and then into like this book says, you know, some pretty clear scriptures on, hey, don't do this, don't do that.
Right.
And this is one of them. It's like why are we taking like passes around this? I want to see where the passes are of how to get around some of that stuff, because it just
there are
seems
passes.
like yeah. I don't.
Is it Jonathan and, oh, I can't remember the two guys, but anyway, that are like best friends
I don't
in the Bible.
I have no idea.
I was not ready.
Okay.
David? Okay.
I don't know, but
I was not ready to talk about all
no
that.
worries.
But
No,
that's
yeah,
okay.
we're kind of going down it, but that's fine.
That's all right.
You know, just thinking about. I guess, you know, it's like if I don't have any problem with, you know, people being people. It's whenever it's like, okay, now we're coming in and it's we're going to change some of the rules because they don't fit us. Is that what's being said? Like that's kind of like it's strange for me to hear like, all right, we're adopting things based on the culture, and I'm like, okay, but that's not. It's based on the book, not the
Right.
culture. So
And
that's kind of
well, United Methodists, Presbyterians, Episcopalians. Presbyterians have already done this. Episcopalians, I believe, have done it. I think we're the last mainline religion to make the split.
okay.
Not that that's a defense, but it's been an issue for as long as I can remember.
Okay. Huh.
I mean, it came up in the 70s probably, and they would come to every general conference and they would protest. We're people, we're human, we deserve to be loved. I have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree with that.
And
yeah.
my question is, my question is, where is the sin? Is it in the act itself? Is it in living as a couple?
Gotcha.
And I have a hard time with it personally, just because I was in college when all of the AIDS crisis was going on, and I saw a documentary about a man and his partner, and the partner was dying of AIDS, and he was taking care of him.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't understand what made that wrong.
Okay. I get what you're saying. You know.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
Okay. Well, I mean, that's not, yeah. It's just something
I'm not
maybe
completely
somebody else
comfortable with
out
all of
there.
it. I can tell you that.
Okay.
It does make me uncomfortable. Um, but at the same time, I feel like I shouldn't be judging it. And I'm okay that this is the way we went. There are other United Methodists that did not feel that way, and so they started their own denomination, which is fine.
Right. And so they do, you're saying that your church has a ministry for Zach, or is it just the,
No,
no, okay.
no, it's
So
just
you said United Methodist and First Presbyterian, you're talking about a different United Methodist, or?
okay. Well, I'm United Methodist. I go
Okay.
to College Heights, and
Gotcha.
then First Pres has a ministry.
Uh-huh.
First United Methodist has a ministry.
Oh, okay. First.
They both
Okay.
have ministries to special needs adults.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, do we want to talk about the one at First Pres?
we'll get there, but
Okay,
so
let's get there.
your church lets him. You said he lets him do like his vacuuming and stuff. Is that
Right.
really okay?
Right. And it's just a matter, I mean, he's grown up in that church. He's 33. He's been going there since he was 8.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody knows him. Everybody knows he's obsessed with vacuum cleaners.
Okay.
He knows what kind of vacuum everybody has. He will know what
love it.
kind of car everybody drives if he can get that far with you.
Yeah.
He needs to know these things for whatever reason. It brings him comfort. And so they're used to him, and they can see the beauty in him
Yeah.
because he doesn't have a lot of fear, which sometimes scares me, but he also has a lot of faith.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he will wait an hour or two for the school bus to pick him up because he knows it's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that kind of faith or patience.
Right.
And so there's just little things about him that we notice. And I had told you before that my friend Tracy had preached one Sunday, and she talked about how when Zach is asking you what kind of vacuum you have, that he's really, or no, if you have vacuumed, he's really asking you, how are you? Because he vacuums on Saturdays. So by Sunday, everybody should be done vacuuming. And if they haven't vacuumed,
Yeah.
then something's really wrong.
So he's checking in.
He's checking in.
Have you
And
vacuumed?
I had never thought about that. I had never thought about that, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how his brain works.
I mean, he's caring. He's caring in that sense. Like he's just
Right.
but it's just not in the way that you would expect. Yeah.
Right.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach's just, yeah. I haven't known him long, but at the same time, it's like his demeanor, his spirit. It's been a pretty big blessing on my life, just seeing him being as happy as he is. And now we're gonna do this night to shine thing.
Yes.
At First Pres, which you kind of let me know about. I had no idea about this event before you told me, so I'm glad you told me. But
I am too. I'm glad you signed up.
yeah. So, it just seemed like a good fit for what we're doing here. I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is awesome.
Right.
And I guess when I'm looking at it, it seems like it's like prom, but it's also, you're telling me they got karaoke going on. Like what
Right. It's like
what's
a prom
okay.
for special needs adults.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure the age range, but okay, so let me start from the beginning. So the Tim Tebow Foundation grants churches the funds to hold a prom once a year.
Okay.
For the special needs kids in the community. And so First Presbyterian is one of the host churches. And so you can volunteer to help. It's a lot of fun. But what they do, you go in and you take, you get your crown or your tiara.
Okay.
And your corsage or your boutonniere.
Nice.
You just go around and get all that. And you have a buddy. I don't know how to start. Okay, let me keep going. So anyway, you get your picture taken. You've seen the picture.
Yeah.
And then you do a walk down the red carpet, and they say, "This is Zach, and he loves to vacuum." And there are people clapping and cheering as you walk down the red carpet, and those are volunteers that do that.
Yeah.
And then they have a big gym there, and there's music and dancing and food, and other little things, people that just show up, like you can get your picture taken and get one of the strip things, that has your
Oh,
pictures
yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I've got a couple of those. There's just different things they do. There are 2 karaoke rooms because it's very popular.
Okay.
And you'll sit there
Yeah.
for a long time, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
until it's your turn. But, and they probably have other things, I don't know. Oh, you get a limo ride.
What?
So when it's your group's turn,
Nice.
you get to ride in, let's see, we've done a stretch limo. We've done one of those like big old expedition, double size, whatever. I mean, we've done all sorts of things.
Okay.
But you get a limo ride around Lake Hollingsworth.
What?
I mean, it's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Do the buddies get to go in the limo?
But you got to stay with your buddy.
All right.
You got to
Cool.
stay with your buddy. So
Yeah.
each special needs person is assigned a buddy, and you sign up to be a buddy. Now you signed up to be Zach's buddy
Yeah.
because we had to work some magic there. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I don't know who I'm getting.
Ooh, now there's Tony
It'll
over
be
here.
exciting.
Tony's in it as well. Yeah.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And for $7 for your background check,
Yeah.
you get to escort someone through all of the things I mentioned, and you do all of those things. They let you know when it's time for your limo ride because you're going to get a dot that's a certain color, and it's
Okay.
like blue group, go to the limo. I mean, they've got it down to a science there.
Yeah.
They do it very well. And it's just fun.
Yeah. 3 hours and it's just like a
It's
blast.
just
huh?
fun.
You're dancing as well? Like they got to dance?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a little nervous. Zach, I asked him what song he wants to sing. Dude, guess
I'm so
guess
sorry.
what song this guy chose? Just curious if you could even fathom.
You
what
could never
song.
guess it.
I don't know. Some Whitney Houston. I don't know.
Whitney Houston, dude.
No.
Carrie Underwood, Before He Cheats, man.
That's the song he wants to do
That
this
I
year.
dug my key into the side of his.
He likes Carrie
And as
Underwood.
soon as I started, dude, he was just started singing it, and I was like, Zach, you better sing it louder, man. Like
He doesn't sing very loud.
I know, and I'm like, oh gosh, man.
You don't have to go up with
I'm
him.
going.
You can just let
No
him.
way.
You can just let him go.
I got to do it with him, man.
Yeah.
You know, we
Last
got to
year it
experience
was-
the night together.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
last year
that.
it was "Dream On" by Aerosmith.
Dream On. Okay.
So
Yeah. So that it was just such a wild song, because the song, it's like what
Yeah.
what the heck? But he loves her, huh? He likes that. So he likes
he loves
vacuums.
music,
Yeah.
and he likes mostly Metallica.
Really?
That's his favorite.
Nice. Okay.
But yes, he likes country. He likes rock. He likes any stuff I've had him listen to. I mean, there's a variation.
Gotcha. And so for those 3 hours, you're just hanging with your buddy, right? I mean,
Right.
that's really what you're
You
doing.
hang out
It's
with your
not-
buddy. Maybe they need to go to the restroom or whatever, and you kind of work all that kind of stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other buddies around. If you need a little break and you need to go to the bathroom or whatever,
Yeah.
you could say, I'm gonna. It just depends on who you have, and they're just there having fun.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
there's not a lot that you have to really do. You're just escorting them, so you need to, they'll
It
tell
doesn't
you
seem
everything at
a-
the training.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a high strain kind of deal.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, then, but they're saying they need 60 more buddies and like some more
60
volunteers.
Yeah,
Guys, like
63 and more volunteers.
anybody out there that wants to participate, hit them up. It's First Pres at Lake Hollingsworth. Yeah.
Yes,
So we need to make
and
sure.
you can go to their website and go to Night to Shine,
Yeah.
and you can register as a buddy. And the more people that register as buddies, the more of this community that gets to go.
Right, because they have registration closed for the community because
Right.
they don't have enough buddies.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So we definitely need to get out there. And it does, I mean, you do one little training session where they kind of
Right.
explain to you what's going to happen through the week. You do a background check, and then you get to have a fun night.
Exactly.
I mean, and you get to help somebody else have a fun night. I mean, is this something that Zach amps up? Like, is he looking forward to this for
Oh, yeah.
a long time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is he more excited now that he's got a buddy? Like he's got me?
Besides having me as his buddy,
That's
boring
right.
mom
That's right.
as his buddy. Of cool guy is now his buddy. Of
Oh,
course.
that's sweet. Okay.
He
cool.
wants to see you every day. I'm telling you, he's
Yeah?
obsessed now.
Man, I got to go over there and holler for him. I just need to yell out Zach, like anytime I'm down the road, just to say hey to him. Can he hear me in there?
Be careful.
Yeah. Oh, he'll come
his hearing is super, super good.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
He hears sirens before I do. He hears blowers, weed whackers, anything that vibrates and makes noise. I had one of his teachers told me that that's soothing
Okay.
to him.
Yeah.
So because he loves his cats too. We have cats.
Gotcha.
And he wants to hear them purr. I have to purr for him every morning.
Okay. Okay.
It's true.
Gotcha.
So good thing I know how, and
That's awesome.
I mean, it's
That's
the
a good
thing.
mom thing
It's
right
the
there. It's a
thing.
good mom
Yeah.
move, you know?
Yeah.
That's sweet. I love that. And with him, so he's into vacuums, and then he also asked me to bring the drill over. So he's
Power tools.
yeah, and like you open that garage and there was like planks of wood that are just Swiss cheese. Like he's just drilling all the way
Yes.
through there. So I was thinking
That's one of my church friends' fault, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said, "Oh, you should get him a drill," and I'm like,
Yeah, and then it was just like
and
he
so
took off.
I, people give me wood, and we drill on it. And the stuff that he's working on right now, actually, we got a new air conditioning unit,
Yeah.
and it came with the 2x4s.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Can I keep those?" And they said, "Sure." And so he's just made them very holy.
Okay.
He built
yeah.
a doghouse. It's got a little thing like this
Yeah.
at the front.
He's a pretty smart kid.
He's a pretty smart kid.
So I was thinking our bite of the elephant could be to get my audience to let us use or let us borrow, I'd say, their drills and vacuums. Would he lose his mind if
Yes.
if
I don't know if he'd want to give them back.
well, I was just saying like if we had a designated room where he just walks in and there's like 20 of them in there. I mean, it's like, and we could just spend the day, just hanging out
Okay.
and doing that. Like maybe the day before Night to Shine or something, we do something cool like that. Would that be something that he'd be about? I mean, just to make a guy's day.
It's all you. You go with it.
Well, okay.
He would love that. Yes,
All right.
he would absolutely love it.
Okay. So let me just
now-
address them
Okay.
then, because I need to
Okay.
ask them. Can you turn that fan on, by the way? Okay. So if you guys could help me out, I talked to First Pres today.
Okay, good.
Jackie at the office at the north entrance of First Pres at Lake Hollingsworth. She is available for you guys to drop off drills and vacuums. She'll leave a little note of where I need to take them back to. But if you guys want to stop by, I'm just trying to make a cool moment for Zach, and I need y'all's help. Especially if you got like a really crazy drill. I think he'd be pretty, like it's something.
So you seriously talked to them about this already?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I talked to him. So Jackie's, it'll be under lock and key. So you don't have to worry about somebody stealing it or nothing, and we'll have a little note of where I need to bring it back to. But if you got, I mean, he was excited about my DeWalt drill. So
Oh, yeah.
anybody that brings a drill is good. But if you got something cool, that'd be even awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't even.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't matter. So take a bite of the elephant, please. Help us take a bite of the elephant by bringing that up to First Pres. Ask for Jackie. She'll put it away for us, and we can have like a cool video. Maybe this will be a two-parter. A video of Zach destroying a bunch of wood and like us having some fun there, and then also promoting Night to Shine. So yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. And so I don't know. It's cool to make a highlight in somebody's life that
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing.
Right.
Like that's not like some crazy, like I don't have to go to Disneyland or something,
No.
Yeah, it's like, hey, does anybody have any drills and vacuums? Like this
Right.
kid's day is about to be made,
Right, because he wants to come to your house and vacuum. That's his goal for anybody.
Yeah.
And so he absolutely loves Miss Sheila at church because he gets to use the Electrolux and the Black & Decker at her house.
Wow.
And he has told her how to make it work correctly. Because rugs and wood floors are treated differently. You
Okay.
have to have the correct attachment. I
Yeah.
mean, the kid knows it all.
Right.
He really does. So, yes,
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I guess
When are you doing is?
Well, I'm going to say, okay, yeah, I should probably put a date on it. So I'm going to say up until February 5th, we'll take donations. We'll take donations up into the up to February 5th. And then, because February 7th, that's from 6 to 9 is the
February 7th
Night to
from
Shine.
6 to 9
Yeah.
is the event.
And so we'll have them all gathered by February the 6th. So February 5th is the last day that you can bring up drills and vacuums. I know that's a strange thing, but
So are you
I don't
planning
care
on
about-
doing this at the Night to Shine
no,
event?
I'll do it the day before
The day
because
before, okay,
Night to Shine.
okay.
It sounds like they get pretty
It's a
busy
big
up there.
thing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So I don't
It's
want
huge.
to. I don't want to bother them, but yeah. So
Okay.
we've got all that worked out though. I'm friends with Jackie. We go to Person of Jesus study
Okay.
up there
Okay.
on Fridays,
Okay.
and so
Okay.
it's pretty cool.
Good.
Just to be able to talk to her and have somebody there. Even though I don't attend that church, it's like nice to have some some people in the.
Well,
in the
I mean,
know.
and I would encourage anybody that's interested to volunteer anywhere you can.
Yeah.
You know, there are big churches that have these ministries and they need help, always.
Yeah.
And it can be with elderly, it can be with special needs people, it can be, really anything.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a little background check here or there to
Right.
make sure it's safe for you to be there. But other than that,
Yeah, I mean they are vulnerable students.
yeah,
I mean,
it's a
yeah.
vulnerable population.
Right. Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it's like you'll get more out of it than you realize if you do it.
Yeah. Just speaking of like serving people with special needs, or even in your situation, I mean, what are some different things that you struggled with as a parent that somebody that doesn't have special needs wouldn't face?
Probably acceptance and inclusion, because especially like middle school and high school, these are the kids that everybody makes fun of because they walk different, they don't get things. I mean, it's all sorts of different things. And when he was in middle school, there was a club called Connexus Club, which is a faith-based organization, and it was kids in that school who wanted to minister to the special needs kids in the school. And so they would have an after school meeting, once a month or twice a month or something like that, so they could get to know each other, because it's all fear.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, like even other members of his community, I've gotten over any fear I have of people who are different than me.
Right.
And he's my example, and because I'm in this community with him,
Yeah.
as his mom. And so it's amazing to me and fascinating to me what these people have, what the special needs people have. And so just to me, it's just, I don't know. They're just different than you.
Yeah.
So when he was in elementary school, they gave me a list of autistic characteristics. And I looked at the list and I'm like, everybody does this. And they're like, yeah, but it's a little amped up for autistic kids. I'm going, okay. But they were all human characteristics, basic things we do to function.
Okay.
And so some of his stuff is really amped up. If you've got a vacuum, he wants to vacuum your house.
Right.
I mean, he's just, and if you don't have a vacuum, he really has a hard time. And I saw him do this the other day, and I can't remember. Well, he might have done it. He tried to do it at your house. If he goes into your house, be prepared for him to look through every closet until he finds your vacuum.
Yeah. Luckily, the first closet was the vacuum, but dude, that guy.
Yeah.
And I looked away for a second. He just popped in the house and it was already in there. Yeah, found
He's
it.
He's got to find it. It's like a thing. Yeah.
Okay, so just acceptance, and just incorporation of.
Right, and anything you can do to get to know this population is just great. It's great for them to feel included and accepted. It's great for you to learn something a little different.
Yeah.
Learn how other people function.
Right.
I mean, I have my favorite disabilities.
Okay.
Because I've been around people with disabilities for
Right.
so long. So like Down syndrome is my favorite.
Okay.
To me, it's the easiest community to deal with. However, they're very affectionate, and sometimes you've got to be really careful to make sure they're being appropriate.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, or people are being appropriate with them is probably the way I should word that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's just, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. I have a friend whose son, his son has passed now, but he had a brain. I should remember it. Sorry, Ed. Anyway, he had it was inherited genetic malfunction in the brain that basically is like MS.
Okay.
And so as time went on, he was less able to use his body, but his mind was fine. And some people, if they see you in a wheelchair and your head's back like this and you're talking like this, they're like, ooh, stay away. And really, that person's got everything you've got going on up there. You just have to figure out how to communicate with them. Like Zachary's speech impaired. So not everybody understands him. And when they don't, I get dragged over to interpret because I'm the interpreter.
Right.
I know what he's talking about. And it's never anything like on subject. Okay. He pulls, like, he'll pull something out of the air and start a conversation about something.
That's beautiful, man. I love that.
But it's, he's a special guy.
So what about, like, as far as, just being a mom, do you get, like, respite care? Like, do you have times? Is that?
I have been signed up for respite care since he was in middle school. The problem, and there's a new program coming out where they're going to assist people with disabilities. But the problem with the state-run programs is if you're like Zach, where you can go to the bathroom by yourself and bathe yourself and basically function without a lot of supervision, then they can't do a lot for you, because as someone moves in the state that has more physical needs, like they need a wheelchair, they need this, they need that, they're going to get bumped up and you're going to get bumped down.
Gotcha.
Because they need to serve the biggest need, most crucial need first.
Yeah.
And so
you need some respite care. That would be...
Yeah, respite care is great.
Yeah. Just to be able to, like, go to the doctor's office or just, like, kind of be in your own head for a while, like, just be...
there's a lot of that. But I figure out ways to do it. And we just had a huge routine change.
Okay.
Because, my father and his wife have been taking care of him on the days I go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that stopped. And my father can no longer drive. So, now his wife brings him over and, he stays with Zach at the house.
Okay.
So it's just kind of different little changes in routine. We're getting used to that. That's been since Thanksgiving, so it's fairly new to us.
Yeah.
And I find my moments. He's very easy. I feel like I am blessed with him because he can bathe.
Mm-hmm.
He can feed himself.
Right.
I can say, you know what? Get a frozen dinner, heat it up. I don't feel like making dinner tonight.
Oh, okay.
And he'll do it. I don't have to. I don't
but
say
not
it like that.
Not everybody's in that scenario.
Right. No. You've got people that have, they've got to clean up after their child, and they have to, there's a lot.
Right.
But it is taxing, no matter what you're dealing with.
Yeah, and it, just to think of, like, if you're in this scenario where your kid has to be on a routine, that makes you have to be on a routine as well. Like, there's not much spontaneity that you can have in life, or, like,
No.
trips you can plan, or just...
Well, if I plan a trip, then yes.
Okay. You know what I'm saying, though? Like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, you have to always be considerate of their routine not being so disrupted by what you're planning that, that things go haywire. So it's...
Right.
There's just a lot more there as far as, you having to morph your life around, which is parenting, of course, but it's a different,
and
it's
I don't
a different
have
level
to.
as well.
I don't have to. I could, send him to a really nice place where they would care for him.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. But I choose to stay with him because, well, for one thing, because his father passed, it kind of gives me some comfort.
Yeah.
And I can't do that to him.
Yeah.
You know, and his brother has already agreed, you know, that he's going to take care of him and they're going to find a way. And, you know, and I told him, I said, once I'm gone, you know, do what you want. If you think he'd be better off in a home, put him in a home.
Yeah.
You know, we have another special needs person in our family. Sam's father, his brother is a special needs person.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've seen what he's gone through. He's 60, he'll be 60 in July. No, he'll be 61 in July. So, but we've seen what he's gone through and the process he's gone through. And, you know, now he's in a home for people with disabilities, because family can't take care of you forever, especially if you're the youngest.
Right.
And maybe that's not a good situation to be in.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to have a temperament for that. And so you know, as a parent, you have to decide what's best for your child.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like anything.
Yeah.
You know, I'm okay with him living with me because I haven't vacuumed or mopped in I can't tell you how many years. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's a great house husband.
Right. Yeah.
I have to make clear to him that he's not my husband because he thinks he is sometimes. Because
Uh-huh.
he tries to figure out the whole husband-wife thing, and parent-child and grandpas and aunts and uncles. We have discussions about all that.
Yeah. Just kind of discussing. I mean, he's 33. Does he feel like life is? I mean, he's always happy when he sees me, but I'm curious if there's real talks with mom of just saying like, I don't really like where I'm at, or I want to, you know, or anything like that. No. Okay.
No, it's all. For me personally, what I think his biggest issue right now is control.
Okay.
That he's realizing he doesn't drive, he doesn't have a car, he doesn't have
Yeah.
his driver's license, you know, and he's watching his brother, who has a girlfriend and a car and now a full-time job,
Yeah.
do these things. And so I think he wants to maintain as much control as he can. And so that'll come off with him telling me what to do.
So he feels these things. It's just he's expressing them differently. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really don't know what's in his head. Sometimes I really want to just get in there and see how his process works.
Yeah.
Because it's fascinating to me. But if you ask him where he's lived, he can tell you every street he's lived on from
Okay.
the time he was 2 years old.
Yeah.
He remembers. He remembers he had a car seat bus that came and picked him up. Because that fascinated me.
Yeah.
I mean, they followed him right out of the hospital. He was born premature. And so there was someone that came to our house until he was old enough to go into the school system. And at 2 years old, Leon County Schools had a car seat bus that came and picked him up. And all these kids got in their car seats on the bus and were shipped off to the preschool.
Yeah.
And he learned so much at that preschool. That's why he knows how to recycle. Because they had to put plastic cups one place, paper plates another place. I mean, it was just a routine for them. And he picked it up and he just kept it. It's amazing to me that stuff like that he just, this is how we do it.
So getting back to the kind of the things that you're specific to needing, I guess respite care is one of those things where
Right.
it's only really offered to people in severe need because you get bumped down and stuff. But
Right.
so that's one way I guess the church could do
Yes.
better, you know, just kind of giving you a break. And
Right.
because it's not like Zach's, you know, like you said, it's not like he's high
It's not
maintenance or something.
difficult, no.
But you just need to have somebody
Because,
there.
you know, danger, is he going to know that I really need to call 911? He knows about 911,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
but is he going to realize he's really in a dangerous situation? I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, it's a risk.
So that's one way the church could minister. I'm thinking of like
And-
if a church out there that doesn't have anything for this, which is, I mean, it's kind of sad that this isn't a priority in every church. You know what I'm saying? It's like these are our people. This is our community. And
Right.
what's strange to me is, I think I might get on a pedestal here a little bit, but
Go ahead.
whatever it is, but you know, every church now, they want to have it's kind of copy and paste. and that's strange to me, where, we have a lead pastor, we have a youth pastor, we have an administration pastor, and these are the ministries we do. We have music ministry, we have a choir, we have youth ministry, we have Awanas, and it's just like you're trying to minister to the same group of people that the guy one block over is ministering to as well.
Right.
And if we're all on the same team, why are we choosing the same group?
Right.
Right. Like, that's strange to me when I hear, because I talked to somebody else that had a special needs kid just before this, just to kind of get an idea of, like, their background, and they said they didn't go to church either. They didn't go to church for a while because this guy was, their son was loud, and it's just kind of like, why isn't anybody starting a church that's specifically for special needs families?
I don't know.
I don't see that being a hard deal to do. I mean, it's like, just so that, if I had a kid that is gonna be verbal, that they can come into a service. I mean, like when I went overseas, and they had church services where everybody had headphones on, because there were so many cultures there that they had translations and stuff. Like, why wouldn't it be possible for you to go, take Zach to a special needs, church where, you get some headphones so you can hear the sermon, but the kids can, stim and do all their things. You have, like, because everybody else has done that. Everybody else, like you. I know there's movie theaters that set up trampolines, or stuff where you can watch Moana or whatever, but then they got this stuff so that they can stay in the movie theater, because a movie theater's like, that's a hard thing to do.
It's a very hard thing
special
to do.
needs. Yeah. It's like, there's certain days like that where movie theaters are open, that or parks will be like that. I mean, we got parks that are fully handicapped, capable and stuff like that. So I'm just thinking, like, why isn't the church starting ministries from the get-go? Why are we all servicing the same group of people? That's just strange to me. Like that, I understand some churches have themes or whatever, or like certain demographics.
Well, I think it takes a couple things. I mean, because we notice they do have the ministries in the larger churches in the community, right?
Yeah.
They have the Sunday school classes. They have the Shine On is what First Pres does, once a week.
Yeah.
For the community. And all of these kids know where these groups are, because that's how I found out. When he got invited to one, and then they go to, the a different one on Tuesdays, and so there are ministries out there, and I think it's the bigger churches, because I'm sure the liability is a lot.
Okay.
That's what I think, because well where I work, that's part of our thing.
Yeah.
We have to look out for it's ministry protection is one of our programs, and we have to look out for the insurance needs, basically, of the churches.
Okay.
So if you have a group at your church, we require you to have an insurance rider in case anything happens. So that, So I think that might stop people because they don't have the money to do that. That's just a guess on my part. I have no idea.
Yeah, but our schools are doing it.
Our schools do it.
Our entertainment's doing it. Like, why is the church not having a set, like, this church over here, this is for special needs families, and they have, once you start changing stuff as far as like architecture, from the get-go, and planning out your rooms and stuff to be able to suit whoever you're trying to minister to, it's going to be better. It's going to be done more efficiently. And like, I just think that that's not something that, I don't see that in Lakeland. I mean, I don't know if there's a congregation out there that's like, hey, this is what we do, where we minister
where
to.
that's their prime thing?
Yeah, where it's and that's kind of like, why not? Why is that not a thing? I don't know. I'm not called to start a church, but I'm just saying that maybe some church planners need to be thinking about something like that.
I agree.
Where it's like because like you said, they're all connected, right? Like once you're in that vein of special needs families, everybody knows what's offered and what's available and the processes. Like, everybody helps each other out,
Right. Yeah. I have
but there's
one
nowhere
mom
that they
she's
gather
my
on a
go-to
Sunday
person.
morning. There's nowhere they gather on a Sunday morning, and like you get to go.
Well, they do. But they're mixed in with the regular congregation.
Right, but then you got to worry about those kids that are
Maybe-
going to be a distraction, you know, and it's like that it hinders
Maybe they
that.
don't worry about that.
Okay.
I don't know.
It
I
should
can't
be,
tell you.
there should be a place where that's all accommodated. I
Right.
think, you
I
know, you
agree.
should really have
I agree.
something like that, you know,
Yeah.
because that's just messed up to me that we're leaving a vacuum of, okay, well, yeah, if you're a special needs kid, you know, yeah, I get that you're not coming to church because he's loud and he says things, and it's like, no, that shouldn't be acceptable. There should be a
No,
place for
it
them,
should be,
you know.
he can
and-
be loud and
yeah,
be himself.
right.
I mean, it's just like when you have kids in church,
Yeah,
and how
Yeah.
you decide you're going to handle.
right. Just having some headphones in the or something like that. I mean, there's just simple workarounds. I don't see why that's not a thing yet. I don't know. I'm gonna pray about that. I hope somebody out there sees this that thinks this is a good idea and that does this. At least, I mean, in my city, sure, but in whatever city you're watching this from, I mean, it's just something that's important.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a very important ministry. It's a very vulnerable community.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, they're easy to serve.
Yeah, I'm about to put vacuums and drills into a room and make this guy's day. You know, it's
Right.
like,
And I mean, if you're serving pizza, they're coming.
yeah.
I mean, it's really simple.
Yeah.
It's really simple. And I mean, they've got the games and different things that they do, you know, when they're in group
Yeah.
at First Pres.
Mhm.
So I know that these kinds of things are out there. These resources are out there.
Yeah.
For your special needs congregation,
Right.
you know, the people you want to minister to,
Yeah.
it's out there.
Yeah, and I'm thinking,
out there.
You know, as far as just what you're saying, like you need respite care, and it's like, man,
Right.
could you imagine a community where you're going every Sunday and you get to just say like, hey, I need some help, and everybody in there has you know, some of the people might have had special needs kids at some point in their life or whatever it is, but you know, they don't have somebody they're watching right then. You know, they'll be like, well, I know how to deal with your kid. I mean, I have experience.
Well,
that kind of community style, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of
I
fires
would
me up,
have
I
more
guess.
of it if I would ask.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. There are people in my church right now that I would have no problem with them hanging with Zach,
Yeah.
or vice versa,
Okay.
whatever. But it's a matter of me asking.
Is there a lot of special needs families that aren't going to church because of their kids, and it's like they don't have a community?
I would
You
think
know?
that yes, because when you're trying to figure out your own kid,
Yeah.
you know, between 3 and 5, or maybe when they get to middle school, all of a sudden you've got new issues,
Yeah.
you know, because the hormones are changing and everything. Yes, you don't want to take them to church. You don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. It's embarrassing.
That fires
The
me up,
people there
man.
don't know how to
Yeah.
deal with it. But I'm talking about, this was in, what, 95?
Mm-hmm.
That we were having these issues. I hope it's changed by now.
Yeah, but I mean,
But
yeah,
has
I get
it?
yeah, exactly. You know, so I don't even know anybody I could talk to about getting something like that going. So
Well,
I
why
hope,
don't you
I hope,
talk to the
you know.
churches that do it?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, it's just it's something I'm gonna have to think about, Kathy. You know, just and honestly, if somebody kind of catches on to this, they're going to need to speak to a lot of people in your situation of how to make this the best possible thing. You know,
Right.
just like, because yeah, I mean, you got to think about every decision, you know,
Right.
every move in light of what works for special needs kids because the spectrum's, you know, so broad
Right.
as far as what somebody could be facing and that kind of thing. So it would just be I don't know, it'd be a beautiful thing, to be honest. I mean, just to be in a service where that's happening. I mean, can you imagine like that church recap, you know, where it's like, because that's what I've noticed that happens after like a Sunday. You'll ask somebody else that goes to another church like, hey, how was your service or something, you know, and just
Yeah.
going to like a special needs church and being like, yeah, well, you know, there was, you know,
Yeah,
4
well-
guys that started running. It wasn't the Holy Spirit. They were just running around, you know, or
It could
like,
be. You don't know that.
yeah. Or, you know, like, I don't know. It'd just be wild to see like, oh, well, you know, Johnny got up there and he recited all of the book of, you know, 1 Peter, because that's what he can do.
Right.
You know, he's got that ability. Like
Right.
the pastor gave him the scripture, and that man memorized it. You know,
Right.
because that's I've known some autistic kids that had scripture memory. It was on another level that
Oh,
I
yeah.
can, you know,
Oh, yes.
like stuff like that. Or
Well, and he's got
you know, the
the
special
Lord's
music.
Prayer down.
Yeah.
He probably has our communion service down.
Right.
Because there's certain prayers we pray during
Yeah.
that, and he's been doing it all his life. So, but I mean,
Man.
he resonates with all of that.
Yeah, I just think it wouldn't be the same thing every Sunday. That's for
I'll
sure.
tell you
know?
what difficulty with the community would be if you have someone who needs their routine and someone who's disrupting the routine.
Oh yeah, okay.
That can be difficult.
That's a good point. I don't know. It's just something.
But
yeah,
I mean,
it's still something that
you can still work around those things.
Right.
Zachary, he had, since he went to high school for 8 years, he had 2 teachers that were just amazing that knew him so well. They would pull him out of a situation when they thought he was getting anxious, and they'd go take a walk,
Yeah.
and they'd walk the campus, and you know, or whatever. But you get to know what triggers, you know, certain people, certain children, and once you learn those, you can learn how to work around it. You can learn how to get their focus on something else, which is really hard for me right now with Zachary. He's just boom, boom, one track mind, and it's like I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Yeah.
And you know, so I have to redirect, and it's just, I don't know, it's basic stuff like you would do with a preschooler.
Yeah.
Or you would do with the elementary school students. So it's not that difficult, but it takes a little creativity.
Yeah. But churches should be out there making an effort on this, and
Oh,
I think that's
absolutely.
important. You know.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered some ideas and some thoughts of how to do it. You know, how you can minister to people in Kathy's situation. You know, people in your situation where.
Right.
You know, just it's one of those things where I think that if we just, as a church, got a little more creative, thought out of the box a little more, we'd be much more effective.
Oh, they do have an out-of-the-box theater, by the way, for the community
Okay.
that performs, I think, twice a year. I'll have to check.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a whole community group. There's a whole community theater group that's
awesome.
It's called Out of the Box, and they perform down on. It's downtown in the theater downtown. I'm horrible with names, so
Okay.
I'll stop there. But
Well,
anyway.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on and giving, you know, your thoughts here. I just want to remind you guys out there, drills and vacuums to First Pres on Lake Hollingsworth. Ask for Jackie. She's in the office there. She's the administrator there. Trying to collect those until February 5th, 2025. So we can have a cool little thing for Zach before we do Night to Shine. Sign up for Night to Shine. Be
Absolutely.
a buddy. Be a buddy. You know, or a volunteer. There's
Or
a
a
couple.
volunteer.
Yeah,
You can be paparazzi and just stand there and clap while
Yeah.
people come down the aisle. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
So
It's just fun.
But that, I mean, yeah, our community needs us to participate, right? And so we got to get out there. You know,
Seeing people in
Yeah.
their best being happy.
And God, yeah, God wants us to
What's not fun about that?
minister to those, and so you know, we just I don't know, just get out there, man. Take a bite of the elephant yourself. You know, that's what we do. We get out there. We don't just talk about it, we do it, and so that's important to do. Let me pray for you, Kathy.
Okay.
And then I'm going to pray for Zach as well. Did we miss anything, Tony? What do you think? Did we miss anything? Nothing.
I think we covered too
Perfection.
much personally. but that's just
Perfection.
me.
All right. Okay. God, we thank you so much for just your many blessings, Lord, and I thank you for the blessing of Zach and just seeing his joy every day, God, and just his smile, his happiness, and just how much you've impacted Kathy's life through him, and shown so many people just the joy of his life. God, I thank you for the people that have had this burden to minister to special needs and being able to to kind of push through that fear of the unknown a little bit, I guess is what it is, or whatever it may be that holds people back from really investing in this community. Lord, I pray for anybody out there that's might start a church just dedicated to this group. Kathy's just having her own specific struggles in this matter with respite care and just having some time to herself and such. God, I just thank you that she's been able to glorify you by being a good parent, being a good mother. I thank you for your love for her, your love for Zach and his brother, and just blessing this family. I ask that you continue to bless them. Please let us have a good turnout on the drills and vacuums, and also that people out there get involved with Night to Shine. Just thank you for making that an organization, and we love you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.